My name is Dylan Gallagher, and I have a heart condition. I'm 17 years old, and I have a leaky tricuspid valve, coarctation of the aorta, a narrowed arch, and atrial septal defect.
So you have a heart condition.
I do, yeah.
Is it something that affects your life? Is it something that you think about day to day, or is it something that sort of like when you're at the hospital, it's a big deal, but then you come home and you're just Dylan?
I mean, I would say a good 70, 80% of days, it doesn't cross my mind at all. You know, no matter what I'm doing. The other day I was playing volleyball for 4 hours straight and never crossed my mind. Like, I knew that I had something going on, but I didn't really know the extent of it. And for the most part, they would let me do, you know, what every normal kid would do. So I didn't really let it affect me that much or bother me or, you know, do anything. I think there was something happened when I was playing baseball where we were playing this game. I was kind of running back and forth from left field all the way to the first base dugout, and that's the farthest distance across the field. And I kind of felt something in my heart. My heart was beating really fast because it was just basically running back and forth from first base to left field. I was kind of like, okay, well, this doesn't feel right. Like, this is not normal. I realized doing cardio for an extensive period of time made my heart rate beat really fast. So I kind of knew coming in oh, okay, if this is happening, then something's wrong. It felt like I was almost gonna pass out. I was there, but I wasn't present, you know. And I was like, what is going on? Then one of my mom's friends picked me up, and I was like, oh no, something's happening, because I went straight to the nurse after that, and they were very aware of my heart condition, and they were like, all right, you gotta go home. I was like, okay. I remember obviously hearing about it. I remember, you know, them saying, oh, you know, you're gonna have another heart surgery, and I was like, okay. And I didn't really know when. They wouldn't really tell me when it was gonna happen, but I remember we were in the middle of our all-star season, and I was probably the best baseball I've ever been playing. The game before, we were playing on a field that had 400-foot fences, but I probably would have hit back-to-back home runs, and then the next day I hit my first ever home run. And you were actually there for that.
I was there.
That was when I was so in love with the sport, and I knew that it was coming up soon. I just had a feeling of I was doing batting practice with my dad one day, and he could tell something was on my mind, and I was just stressed out. I wasn't really fully there. I was just kind of worrying about it because I think I knew it was coming up within the next couple of weeks, and I was just kind of scared. And he's I just remember being there with him and us talking through it, and that was you know, when I really understood okay, this is in God's hands. You know, I might not ever get to play this sport again, but I know that whatever's coming next, you know, God's gonna make this setback be minor for a major comeback. And I know that you know, the light at the end of the tunnel is brighter, you know, the windshield's bigger than the rear view mirror. So yeah, I learned so much. I think that was this might be it. It's okay, it was kind of a bummer because at the time this was the most fun I'd had playing the sport, and I was it's really just all gonna be gone, and I'm not gonna be able to play. And I didn't really know there was so much uncertainty that I was just kind of, you know, I didn't know what was gonna go on. But I remember we were hitting batting practice, and I wasn't really doing that well, and he could tell something was up, and he just kind of asked me, and I just kind of was I'm really scared. I don't know what's happening. I'm really scared, and I know this is coming up soon. And I remember just him being there to fully just comfort me, and him being there showed me it was all gonna be okay, and that you know, it was in God's hands, and that whatever was gonna happen, you know, God was going to bless me even greater in the future. You know, even if I had to give up so much, God was gonna make the future better than the past. So I woke up First words I said was water. I don't think I've ever ever wanted water so badly in my life. Removing the tubes and stuff, like, that sucked, I'm not gonna
Chest
lie.
tubes hurt so
they hurt.
bad.
Yeah. You have to get creative, I would say, with ways to like actually pass the time. I just tried to do like a bunch of things that would take my mind off it. My dad would show me a bunch of like fails and this Instagram account called Kook of the Day.
Did you always want one of your parents there?
Yeah, I think they helped me with so much. Like, they were always just like right there for me by my side during the surgery, and it showed me like that sense of like they care so much and they're so like the love they showed really just spoke so loud, and them just like being willing to stay there after surgery was like, I don't know, it just showed me that like, you know, everybody's here for me. Yeah. I think the parents tend to stress more sometimes about it than even the kids do. And I think obviously like it's sometimes harder when you're not the one going through it, and like you wish you could be going through it because you have such a deep care for this person. But like at the end of the day, like I felt like my parents were more affected by it than I was. Like, I don't know, my mom or my sister might shed some tears, and it's like, for me, it's like, you know, no, like I'm okay. You know, I'm doing great. The biggest blessing I had out of surgery, like in rehab was very tough, like, you know, getting back to like where I was before. And that was a big scare for me, but being able to like play Xbox with my friends and just connect, and like, you know, everybody's normal playing a video game. So it was like, it was great to just, that was when Fortnite was huge. That really helped me like laugh and be like, all right, everything's all good. And, you know, just take my mind off of it.
What advice would you have for a kid who is struggling with their heart condition and playing sports, or being super active and wanting to achieve all these great things, but they're really worried that it's going to limit them in their life? What do you have to say to them?
They can do the exact same thing as everybody else can. I really do believe that. I don't, you know, there was a girl who was on Texas women's team last year, Asia O'Neal, and she was like the best middle blocker in the country, and she had an open heart surgery. If you work hard enough, then anything is possible. You know, I wasn't sure what the doctors thought. You know, they were always on my side of like, all right, like, are we gonna let him play like sports? Like, we know he wants to, and we know he wants to be able to do stuff, so we're gonna like do everything in our power to make sure he doesn't feel like he's set back by any means. But if you really want it, I don't think like there's anything that like can stop you, you know, like no matter what you want to do. I feel like if you have the drive to like get back and you're willing to put in the work, and like even the surgery itself, you know, you don't know what you're capable of doing until you do it. I didn't know I was capable of playing a college sport until I did it.
And you don't feel like it limits you in terms of your athletic ability?
No, not at all. I really don't. I think it almost adds to it, because it's like, you know, you get into a big game or a close set or a national championship, and you're like, okay, like I've been through a couple of open heart surgeries. I've been through way worse than this, whether I win or lose. Like, it is what it is, you know? Bring it on.